Hello, welcome to Fujoshi Trash Talk, a podcast for trash to talk about Fujoshi stuff, a subsidiary of Anibros' creative extended universe. Today, I am Stacy.
Today you're Stacy?
Yes, only today. A special limited time offer. And I have Tara here next to me, and Jen.
Hi.
And today we are going to talk about dokyusei, or classmates as it translates to English. This is a BL manga series that originally released in 2008, written by Asumiko Nakamura. A sequel, Graduates, or Sotsugyosei, was released a couple of years later. And then a couple years ago, in February 2016, an anime movie adaptation was made.
Yay.
Yes!
Pachi, pachi, pachi.
So today we'll talk about mainly the anime adaptation and maybe some things about the manga as well. I don't know if, Jen, if you had a chance to read any of that or...
Nope.
Okay.
I do want to read it though.
Yes. So the basic plot is, as the title implies, it's the story of two classmates at an all-boys school, Hikaru Kusakabe and Rihito Saijo. They start getting to know each other when Kusakabe helps Saijo practice for their choir performance, and their connection soon becomes romantic. The story of the movie follows them through 1 year, divided into 4 separate parts. They have summer, autumn, winter, and second summer. What happened to spring? I don't know. I guess nothing interesting happened in the spring for these boys, but so it's basically kind of a slice of life romance sort of series, or rather movie. So would anybody like to be the first to say something?
I liked it. Did you guys like it?
I enjoyed it very much. Tara, what did you think?
I actually did enjoy it very much.
Was there anything in particular you liked about it? Non-spoilers.
I think we can spoil this.
Well, we can talk about it without spoiling.
And then we could spoil it.
It had a very innocent visual.
Yes, as Tara mentioned, a very innocent sort of story. I mean, of course we like the the dirty stuff too, but
Even the drawing style itself was a very sort of innocent, child reminiscent drawings.
yeah, it had like very soft colors, I would say.
I think the backgrounds were all watercolors, or at least made to look like watercolors. And at the end credit, they definitely used watercolor style paper, or at least what looked like watercolor style paper at the end, which I really liked. I really liked the visuals in it.
Yeah, the visuals were very pleasant. What do you think about like the character designs? Do you think they looked good?
Well, the main characters were very well drawn, and the teacher was hilarious. But when they do the no face thing with the wide lips,
Yeah, that was they kind of basically made it clear who's not important to the story. Pretty much all the background characters had like just a mouth and no more details on their face.
Yeah, even the best friend character had like eyes, but his eyes were drawn really weirdly. And it was like kind of creepy at times.
Yeah, so they definitely made a distinguishing between who's important to the plot here. It's like, okay, the two guys and the teacher. And that's, I guess, basically all they thought that we needed to pay attention to in this story. Since it was such a short story, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't want to put in, too many side characters and stuff when you only have 1 hour of time to get to know the story and all that. So it was kind of weird to look at sometimes, but overall it was fine that they kept the focus on just the main couple, and then a couple of things with the teacher and Kusakabe's band as well.
Yeah, definitely. But though I did notice that there were a couple of times where they drew the limbs really weirdly. Like, yeah, there was one bit where Kusakabe's on the roof talking to the teacher, and his legs are drawn sort of, he's leaning against the roof and his leg is sort of curved. He doesn't seem to have a knee. Which was really weird. Like, there were points like that where they got really... You could either say lazy or you could say stylistic with how they wanted to draw the rest of the body.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a thing that happens in BL a lot, where the proportions may be strange or just...
Massive hands for some reason.
Massive yaoi hands. One of everyone's favorite tropes. Though this one, I think their hands seemed pretty normal sized at least. None of those monster hands going on.
it was very innocent. It had the classic kiss where one can't resist.
Yeah. Are we going into a bit more spoilers now? Yeah.
We won't say how far they went. They just say there was a classic kiss.
Yeah.
And then they stop and they're like, oh, crap.
For a society where you generally don't show affection in public, they sure seem to kiss in public frequently. Like every time they kissed, it was okay. No one was around for most of them, but there was still, you're out in the open. Like somebody could potentially be watching you. But I guess they were just so into each other that they just had to kiss. So cute.
I guess going on from that is, what did you think of the story?
I thought it was interesting the way they did with dividing it up into like 4 little vignettes. I looked into the manga a little bit after we finished watching, and it's kind of just basically different manga chapters is what they did. There were a couple extra chapters in the manga that weren't in this adaptation that kind of explained a couple of things that weren't 100% explained, I guess, in the movie. There's a little bit more in the manga about Saijo's past with the teacher.
I was wondering about that.
Yes, that also related to another point later in the last part of the movie where he was getting sick on the train, which is apparently something that happens to him now ever since one time he got sick on the train on his way to an important exam, and then ever since then he always has that same thing happen to him. So the first time this happened, the teacher came to pick him up from the train station, and then the teacher was kind of having inappropriate thoughts about him at that time.
Oops.
Yeah, so there did have some history with, the teacher and Saijo, which, the anime kind of implied, but it still kind of seemed to come out of nowhere in that counseling session when the teacher was getting all close to him.
Okay, I feel like we should throw up spoiler warning now, because I really, really want to talk about that scene.
Yeah.
Spoilers!
I think ever since we stopped talking about visuals, pretty much everything else is going to be spoilers, because it's all plot related.
Also, it was a short movie, so... Okay, so you know how in shoujo manga or anime, sometimes you'll have that situation where you have like a love triangle, and the girl walks in, and the guy with another girl, and oh my goodness, what does the girl do? She normally cries, and she runs away, and she's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I saw that. Oh my goodness, but I thought I like him, but I thought he liked me, and oh my goodness. No, in this, Kusakabe walks in and sees Saijo and the teacher about to kiss, and he's like, oh, fuck no.
Yes.
Punches the teacher, grabs Saijo, and drags him out of the room.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, that is a proper reaction.
Yes. No more of the, I saw him talking to someone else, and now he doesn't like me anymore. Me. But no, bitch, take action. Like, that's your man, you go take it.
Get off my woman.
Your man, you go get him, and you take him with you.
But just in case you think the teacher is not part of it later, Kusakabe is interested in having sex. The first person he asks is the teacher.
In the middle of the teacher's lounge.
He has no shame.
That was a great moment. So how did you guys do it? Like, oh my god. That was another thing from the chapter I read that wasn't adapted to this, is that they do make it clear that the teacher is gay, and he kind of mentions that in his like internal monologue during that chapter. And that's the reason why Kusakabe comes to him for advice on how to bang his boyfriend.
He's like, oh my goodness, it's so hot. It must be the vapors. I'll take him outside.
Yeah, that was good.
The teacher's creepy, but I'm glad he also becomes awesome. And he kind of helps.
In the manga chapter, he did say something like, I'm a teacher and he's a student, so I should wait until after he graduates. It's like, so he's at least intending to be honorable. But, and again, this is Japanese stuff. I mean, you see this a lot in, both BL and shoujo stuff. So,
and shonen.
Shonen? Do the teachers really hit on the students in shonen? It seems like it's less common in that genre than the romantic genres.
True, but there still occasionally shows that.
Yeah.
No, I guess in shonen you often see like the student hitting on a really hot teacher.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm thinking of, like, Yuki Holder, where the main character is, like, I'm in love with you, Yukihime, who's his teacher, and who's, like, got massive boobs, and she's like, haha, no.
True that usually the teacher doesn't return the response. Shonen versus shoujo, a lot of times the shonen will have the teacher as an ideal, like, crush, or, like, go after them. Like, Black Clover, he's after the nun who helped raise him and teach him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is weird, because she raised him. She's like his mom.
It's okay, but they're not blood related.
Which is a whole other thing.
And sometimes that's all you need. They're not blood related.
In Japan, they don't really always even care about that. If you look at all the doujinshi.
That's a totally other subject.
Right, Tara? When we got you that initial D doujinshi. Sorry, it's just a funny story that is fun to interrupt the main topic with. Tara was watching she had gotten to Initial D before I did. So one time at a con in a dealer's room, I saw there was this Initial D doujinshi, and Tara wasn't around. So I'm like, okay, I'll just buy it for her. Yeah, maybe she'll probably appreciate it. And then so I go and I take it and I give it to her, and she's like, these guys are brothers. I'm like, oh, well, enjoy anyway.
And I do still have that doujinshi.
She treasures it forever.
Anyway, back to the subject at hand.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just thinking that, when he walks in on the teacher and Saijo and he beats the crap out of him and drags him out.
Yeah.
There's a similar scene later on where Saijo accidentally overhears a girl confessing to Kusakabe and then reacts. And that brings in the alcohol, which you wanted to talk about, Tara?
You mean like the fact that a red cup of beer makes him extremely drunk?
Yeah, it's just 1 cup of beer, yet he gets totally roasted.
You've never met Japanese people, have you? They're like Stacy. They're that weak.
I am a lightweight.
We're both lightweights.
Of a lightweight. I can't even tell you because I don't like beer, but it's like a 5% alcohol content.
It was just kind of amusing that I guess as adults watching this, we're like, okay, 1 beer, would that really get anybody that toasted? I mean, I am a lightweight as well, but like Tara, I don't drink beer because I don't like it. I will drink ciders and fruity drinks and such, but...
Yeah, and after 1 sip, you're like, woo!
If it's hard alcohol.
I'm pretty sure Saijo was hard at the time.
Da-da, where's the soundboard?
We don't have one. We don't have the budget.
But yeah. He did get a little drunk and jealous when that girl was trying to mac on his man.
Yeah, but then his man was like, yeah, sure, I'll give you my number. And it's like, no, that's not appropriate. Yeah. You shouldn't give your number to her. You have a boyfriend. You should have said, I have someone.
He's just being friendly, I guess, since she was a fan. But yeah, bro, come on.
Okay, but you gotta remember, that character is a very common character in there where he's very naive and he's very single-minded. Kind of an idiot. But really lovable. Which Stacey and I were trying to figure out if we actually knew anybody real life who was like that. It's such a common trope in almost every genre. You have the one guy who's really lovable, really single-minded, kind of an idiot, but like loves you to death. And we were like, do we know anybody like that in real life?
Do you?
I don't know. Do these people exist? To be
your
like...
husband? Cough, cough.
No, he's no. More. He has too much of a mean streak to be that type of character.
Oh, not your husband.
No.
Husband.
Yeah, Wesley has the same thing. Who was hired to roast the Anibros at Adult Jeopardy?
Touche.
Yeah.
No, but I definitely think he has this one-track mindedness to him and is a bit of an idiot sometimes. An adorable idiot.
Yeah, adorable idiot.
But it's almost as if real people are a lot more complicated than 2D animation. Pretty boys.
Yeah, what?
Well, I mean, that is true. We were trying to figure that. But is there anybody that you have, would we have that characteristic?
I think Laven, one of the head hosts of Anibros podcast. You should check them out.
Anime podcasting done right.
Actually, you know what? Now that you mention that, I could see Laven in that trope. I could totally see Laven that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll say Laven is the most Kusakabe-like of the group.
And I could totally see Jax, the guy who sits in the background, who's like the best friend, who's just like face palm.
Oh my god, so is now the ship Laven x Jack?
No.
I think the ship's been the two of them for a while by default because they're the Anibros.
They'll never have a romantic relationship.
Oh yeah. It's only a matter of time.
They'll never have a romantic relationship, but he'll always be the best friend, like the smart one who's like, you've liked her forever.
So back to the show instead of shipping our friends.
Yeah. I guess since we're talking about characters, did you like the characters? Did you think they were, enjoyable characters, or did the traits work for you, or would you have rather seen them act differently, or did it all make sense or not make sense? What do you think about the cast that we had?
I actually really, really liked all the characters. I really liked how, like, Saijo was a straight-laced student. He's, like, bashful, and it was Kusakabe who kind of drew out his more lovable side, and Kusakabe's just an adorable dork.
Yeah.
And I loved how they animated him, like, shuffling around, and they, like, slipped in little bits of comedy with his body language.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were both cute, and, the teacher was a little creepy, as we mentioned, but, we kind of expected expect that sort of thing in these types of shows.
He was creepy, but at the end of the day, he was also a good guy.
Yeah. Let's see. The only other character we really had was Kusakabe's friend, who I don't even know his name, and I don't even remember they mentioned it.
He didn't even have a face.
He was kind of asking, Kusakabe throughout, like, so, what's going on with you and Saijo? And Kusakabe wouldn't exactly give him clear answers until the hot springs scene in the last part.
I thought he was such a good friend.
Mm-hmm. He was like, well, because Kusakabe's like, well, doesn't that kind of freak you out? And he's like, no, I mean, because he's like, I was more worried that you'd never fall in love with anyone because you didn't seem that interested in girls, so it's, much better that you're in love with the guy. It's like, oh, that's such a cute line. Yeah.
And then he starts to blush, and the best friend's like, now you're getting creepy.
Yeah. It's like, now I'm a bit creeped out. Now that your whole body blushing in this hot springs.
It's not my fault. The hot spring is just hot.
Yeah. I think I did like Kusakabe the best of the characters.
Yeah, me too.
Saijo, the manga part that they didn't adapt, they did, as I mentioned before, they gave a little bit more of his story, like his motion sickness problem when he gets nervous for a test being the reason that he even ended up at this, lower ranking school when he's actually a smart guy, which I don't think they really kind of mentioned the ranking of the school, but if you looked at the backgrounds and stuff, you could kind of see it was a little bit run down, but it wasn't ever really explicitly mentioned that I recall in the show.
Well, at the end of the movie, when Kusakabe goes to the train station and he picks Saijo up, he does say, oh, well, it was thanks to you failing all those tests that you became my classmate, and he said the name of the movie.
I know. Winking at the camera and saying the name of the movie. Come on, man.
Yeah. So they kind of hinted at it, but they didn't explicitly state that's why they became classmates.
So yeah, after reading that chapter of the manga, it's like, okay, it's not like it really took you out of it that much in the movie, but with the manga, it does give you a bit more background on what happened for them to become classmates.
Okay, so now for the final verdict.
Yes.
Would you recommend it to be watched or not?
Yes.
I would say yes. I would recommend it to other Fujoshi. What do you think for non-Fujoshi?
I would even recommend it to Wes. I would recommend it to non-Fujoshi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is one that works pretty well because it doesn't have like all the wacky tropes and stuff of regular BL.
And on the smut meter, it's
low.
Probably a 1. It's a very innocent.
It's cute smut.
Yeah. Like, we're gonna kiss.
There's some tongue kissing, so I guess bump it up to a 2 on the smutometer.
Smutometer.
Where he was like tickling his back. That was kind of...
But still,
that was cute.
Yeah. It's sexy, but it's innocent.
I mean, they really did play their cute physical explorations as almost more along the lines of like maybe freshmen in high school level. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's probably a 2.
Yeah, I mean, they did talk a little bit about, what if we want to go further?
Actually, speaking about that, it was kind of funny how Kusakabe was like, I stole my sister's manga.
Oh, yeah.
And tried to find out how 2 guys should do it, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
I like it that he was doing his research.
Yes, he did research, because all girls are Fujoshi. His sister just happened to have BL manga and stuff for him to look at. Like, yeah, that was kind of an amusing part, I thought, as well.
I would definitely recommend this to people who like shoujo, who like soppy romance.
Yes.
I don't think I'd recommend it to, like, your husband, Stacey, because I don't think he'd like it.
No.
He's not a soppy romantic kind of person.
He can be if he wants to, but...
Duh.
But I don't think he wants to watch that sort of thing, though.
Aww.
So if you liked Card Capture
Sakura?
Yeah, that kind of shoujo. If you like that kind of...
okay.
I'm trying to think of what's a more current one.
Yeah, we don't know current things.
Well, no, Card Capture Sakura is current because there's a new season airing.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball is also current? Come on.
I wouldn't recommend this to Dragon Ball fans, though, unless they're girls.
Well, no, that's not fair. Because I know a couple of guys who would really enjoy it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I take that back.
Of course there are some, but generally if you like shoujo, this would be a good thing to watch. If you're more of a shonen fan, yeah, there might not be as much there for those fans to enjoy, but hey.
I feel like people who wouldn't be interested in BL probably wouldn't be listening to this in the first place,
yeah,
to be honest.
So all of you are trash who already want to watch it anyway.
Or have already seen it.
Okay, so in the manga, and this is another spoiler alert, and Stacey discovered this, it actually goes beyond the anime and does a couple of chapters about where they've graduated and how they've...
There's a whole sequel couple of volumes that they put out, which is the Sotsugyo-sei that I mentioned earlier, or Graduates, which is after they've graduated graduated and what they're doing then. So, but the part I saw, I didn't know about that when I read this other part, which is like some bonus chapters that were created when the movie came out a couple of years ago. Because the original manga was like 10 years ago, and then just recently the movie came out in the last couple of years, and there were some bonus chapters. So I didn't really have the context for the bonus chapters I read. They were just also labeled classmates, so I read them. But it's a part where they continued and they had this cute story where they were getting rings and stuff. I'm like, oh my god! But then it didn't conclude. I was like, wait, where's the part where they give each other the rings? It's like there's part where they're each separately going to buy rings, but then they never, unless wherever I was reading it, just didn't have the complete thing. But anyway, what I'm saying is like, there's a continuation, and after watching this, I do want to see how this relationship plays out, so I'm gonna have to go read Sotsugyo-sei.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read it as well.
Yeah, and I am curious to see how far it goes. Like, is the graduate series, the relationship goes farther? Does it get lewd or anything, or does it stay just innocent? Like, oh, we show them on dates and whatever, and not any of the bedroom stuff.
I'm sure if you want lewd, there will be plenty of fan-made doujinshi out there.
Oh yeah, there's for everything.
Rule 34.
Actually, one thing I thought about is that compared to some other BL, it was kind of nice that the relationship between them was more a relationship of equals, is implied by the classmates title. It wasn't this thing where there's like some seme who's like a foot taller than the uke, and the uke's crying all the time, and those tropes that have kind of been present in the genre for a long time. It was refreshing to see something that was they're more on equal terms with each other. It's like, even though you can tell that Kusakabe is going to be on top, it still didn't feel like an unbalanced relationship.
I think Seijo will surprise you.
Yes. Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
They could be switched.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like. So I'm always a fan of riba, or reversible pairings. So I would be interested to see the rest of the manga series and see how much they go into that, though I think they do want to imply that Saijo is the uke boy. But they're both cute, and anyway, yeah, either one. I mean, Kusakabe cried more than Saijo in this series, so he could be an uke boy too.
I guess that's a good point, is that they definitely, it's nice that they show emotion.
Yeah.
Kusakabe shows emotion, and he is obviously gay because everyone in the school seems to know it, they just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But nobody, gives him a hard time for it.
Yeah.
And he's not ashamed of it either.
Yeah.
Which I really like.
They never, say it outright, yes, I'm gay, but they also don't try to hide it, really, which, well, that's kind of, BL kind of ignores the issue a lot of times, so it may not be realistic, but they did kind of address it with the scene with the friend, where he was like, I'm just happy you love somebody.
Yeah.
But that's something for the tropes topic, I believe. The non-dealing with actually being gay. It's like, I'm kissing this guy, but it's not like I'm gay or anything. But, well, at least they didn't go that far in this one, which was nice, that they didn't deny being gay. Even if they didn't explicitly say it, they didn't deny it. So that's, I guess, a good middle ground to have.
This series wasn't really about being gay or not gay. It was about two boys falling in love with each other. Mm-hmm. It wasn't really dealt with, because it wasn't a gay or not gay issue. It was, you had a person that you fell in love with. Mm-hmm. Because I really think that Kasukabe could actually probably be bi, because he has dated girls before.
Yeah, that's pretty common in BL.
You were thinking he was uke?
No, I'm thinking he can be both.
He could be bi.
Oh, yeah.
Because
the friend did mention that he did sleep with women.
Well, they didn't say how. They said he dated women. They're not sure how far he went with women.
But he said he wasn't a virgin anymore, and he must be, because he was talking about Seijo must be a virgin.
I didn't pick up on that. That's a good point. I have to rewatch it. What a shame.
Yeah, oh no. Have to rewatch it and read all the manga.
It may have been implied versus said, but because he said you didn't care about these girls even when you went out with them. Mm-hmm. And then he was talking with the teacher. He was talking about how Seijo is probably a virgin. And
yeah, at least the teacher didn't get to him.
Yeah.
That's the one
not
comfort.
graduated yet.
No, at least the teacher's a nice enough guy to not pounce on him when he's in a relationship with someone else.
Yeah, though he did know that, though. It's like, oh, weren't you dating Kusakabe? Oh, did something happen? Well, I'm going to try to kiss you anyway.
Let me comfort you with my mouth. So overall, we all liked it, and we're going to read more manga and stuff.
Yes. So I think, our conclusion is that we enjoyed it, we want to see more, we all want to read the manga, and we would like if they made an adaptation of the later parts too, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. That will be all for the subject of classmates. You can check out our past podcasts on anibroscreative.com. You can also check out the other shows that are going on, including Real Japan, which is about live-action adaptations of anime and manga, and also Otafu Susume, which is about otaku spouses recommending things to each other. Plug, Jen, plug.
Yeah, that's me and my husband suggesting shows or manga or comics to each other that we keep getting the other one to read and forcing them to read it, and then having a go at each other for each other's terrible tastes.
Good times all around. And of course, you can also check out the original Anibros. As I mentioned before, we have the website at anibroscreative.com. You can also see us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thanks for listening. See you next time.